We are coming to you yet again tonight from a staging area along the Pacific by the Pacific Palisades along the Pacific Coast Highway, where law enforcement officers, firefighters, and others, some National Guard members now. The National Guard has been called in. There's some here on the ground. Are all using this as a staging ground for battling the Palisades fire, which is one of the two biggest fires, which are still about 10% or so contained. There is a lot of work being done. You can see just over the hill right here, and I'm told it's some distance over that ridge. There is another fire that has really sent off a lot of smoke into the air just over the last 30 or so minutes. It is incredibly active. We spent the day out in Topanga Canyon in a number of areas, and we're going to show you that in a moment. The official death toll now stands at 11. That's up from 7 this time last night, and obviously that number is expected to rise as well. Some 30,000 acres have burned in all. There's a lot of concern. Today there was some good news, which was the winds had died down or were relatively calm. There is a lot of concern about what happens this weekend, particularly Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. It's expected that the winds are really going to pick up. We have a lot of reports to show you in the hour ahead tonight. I want to begin with what we have spent the day doing just up in Topanga Canyon, driving around with fire crews. We came upon a community called Fernwood, and we saw more aerial assets being brought to bear, fighting, trying to put out these spot fires in that area. It was extraordinary to witness. Take a look. In the mountains of Topanga, the battle rages on. By air and on land, firefighters are trying to save the community of Fernwood. They've been hitting this fire here in Topanga with a number of aerial assets. Fixed-wing aircraft, that was the large one. There was a smaller fixed-wing aircraft. They just dropped retardant, fire retardant on it. That's what the reddish-pink color is. They've also brought in helicopters have been dropping water on this spot as well. They have a lot of assets in this area on the ground. They're also putting water on it from fire trucks down there. But this is a spot that they are focusing on right now. One after another, choppers swoop in. They sound an alarm to let anyone on the ground know water is coming. You can hear the sound, kind of a siren going. That's the warning that they're about to drop water. This is probably the fifth or sixth water drop we have seen just over the last 10 minutes, I'd say. They're devoting a lot of resources trying to nip this in the bud. It looks like from this vantage point, I'm told it is likely a structure fire. You can tell because of the black smoke. New fires pop up all the time. There's one also in the distance near Entrada. It looks like from this vantage point that there now may be another issue, another fire over this ridge. You can see the dark smoke rising from there as well. So there's a fire that they believe is a structure down off to the right, and then over that ridge, looks like there is now another fire to deal with. And obviously on the horizon, you can see some other smoke trails as well. So they are trying to save this community. That is where the battle has been joined. A lot of air assets, trucks on the ground, fixed-wing aircraft like this. Wow. I mean, it's extraordinary. It is extraordinary to be standing here and feel the power of that aircraft go right over you and watch it just swoop down so low. It is rare in life you see an aircraft swooping that close to houses. We watch 3 choppers drop their loads in quick succession. It's a sign how vulnerable this neighborhood is. On Medley Lane in Fernwood, we find James Larson, a firefighter from Orange County. He's been doing this for 30 years.
Right now we're setting up a defensive stance. There's some fire coming up the ridge here. We're protecting these properties. Of course, our main priority is life safety for not only the citizens here, but for the firefighters.
Nearly everyone who lives here has evacuated, but Adam Weber and some others have come back to try to save their homes. What is it like for you to see this? I mean,
it hasn't hit yet. It's a very surreal and devastating to watch. And at the same time, I have so much respect for the fire and really taking in the medicine of what's happening. It's a moment I've never experienced before in my life. It feels like LA's having its 9/11 moment.
firefighters will likely stay here all night. The situation changes with the wind. As we leave, we notice a new fire is now raging on a distant mountain. There is no end in sight. And that new fire that we saw on that far mountain, I can't tell if it's the same fire that we are now seeing over there, or if this is a different one. It is, I mean, there are just spot fires still going, popping up, and that crew that you saw up there, they are probably going to stay in Fernwood overnight, sleep there if they can get some sleep, if they're not able to be relieved by another crew. But they need to have people. They have people pre-positioned because they know with the wind just keeps changing, and if the wind changes, and particularly this weekend, that's though I keep talking about this big concern. They need to have the crews pre-positioned there, because just to get up to some of these communities, these small communities like Fernwood, it takes a while. These roads are very windy, they're difficult, especially for big vehicles. When we left, they were bringing in a bulldozer. It is remarkable I just can't get over how much water they were able to drop from the air today, because the winds had died down. They were really getting able to get those aircraft in there. I want to go to Bill Weir, who has spent the day in another community. Let's take a look at what he found.
This tree, the fire came right up to the property.
Yeah.
That tree torched out.
For the last 5 years, Miro Sorrell Freed was a hotshot, putting out wildland blazes around Southern California. And all the while, he knew his own home atop a Sierra Madre ridge was a ripe fire target.
I've been doing fuel reduction and defensible space. So I've been lifting all the trees and cutting everything back, so in case a fire does happen, it can't get up into the trees and torch out the building.
And that paid off.
Paid off. I mean, if I didn't do that, all this wouldn't have gone.
Right. But he never imagined he'd have to defend his own neighborhood from a moving hellscape with a garden hose and a chainsaw. He says that during repeated trips over multiple days, he had to beg for help from passing fire crews and even evade a police barricade.
Told me I looked tired and I should go find somewhere to sleep, and then threatened to put me in the cop car. So I know Sierra Madre, I know another way to get in, so I snuck back up here and put out a bunch of fires and saved 4 or 5 homes from burning.
When fire crews from Arizona finally arrived, Miro found himself in command.
I've been telling them what's going on and telling them what to do. It's been crazy. And I'm not even paid for this. I always said for the Forest Service, I like to do it, not for the money. It's a great way to be outside and be of service. But I never thought I'd be doing this for free. It's insane.
Exactly.
Insane.
Do you feel like you're in the clear yet? I mean,
Yeah,
can you even relax?
Here we're fine. There's going to be another wind event, but the damage has been done. Everything has burnt, and there's nothing left to burn. Yeah.
What does that feel like? Have you been able to process that yet in terms of...
Yeah, last night I was up here by myself, and the lights were out and just crying. We drove through, went by my dad's house, and we were just crying the entire time. And called a couple of my crew members that I work with that are laid off, and I just cried to them, and it's unreal. It's crazy.